Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're gonna take a look at the top teams for the Great League Remix Cup. Kinda sorry that this video comes out quite late. I had an exam today, so I wasn't really able to record anywhere earlier. Still gonna have another one on Saturday, which is going to be a little bit awkward for the next few videos, but it is what it is. Anyway, this kinda hold me back from recording it earlier, but it definitely does not hold you back from leaving a like and subscribing to the video. To the channel, exactly. But yeah, anyway, we're going to take a look now at the meta real quick, and then we're going to have 10 top teams, so definitely stay tuned for this, and I'll see you then. Taking a look now at the meta, we're going to see here, for whatever reason, Carbink being allowed, and Steelix being allowed, and Gliga being allowed, and Manton being allowed. And here's the thing as well, I just wish Remix Cup would be like maybe 30 or 40 different Pokemon not allowed, because all the time, every single time, there's one or two or three Pokemon that are top tier meta that are going to be great for this cup still. And I really would like to have like a cup where really like all the Pokemon that you don't really see at all are going to be all of a sudden like totally cool. But that being said, this cup is still kinda cool because there are some Pokemon banned. Like for example, the Wigglytuff, the Sandslash, the Lantern, the Azumarill, the Charjabug, the Skeledirge, the Feraligatr. Quite a lot of them. Interestingly, still enough here that Medicham is banned. I don't know, like I don't really see it too often, maybe like in the lower up elo range. It is still quite common. It says here like for people that I think, usually it says, yeah, like above ace rank basically. Yeah, those Pokemon are not allowed here, the top 20 Pokemon for it. Talonflame is kind of a huge one, but in general you see here Charjabug and Lantern being not allowed, which are basically the only electric type Pokemon that are usually very good. So electric type, Togedemaru, Magnezone, that's basically it. Stunfisk maybe, but like honestly, they're not really any good electric type Pokemon. What this means is flying type Pokemon and water type Pokemon are quite good. That's not how you say flying, but that's how you say flying, and that's how you say water. And so you see a lot of water and flying type Pokemon around. What this means as well though is you can still run an electric type Pokemon maybe, but also Pokemon with electric type coverage like Registeel are going to be quite decent. But anyway, the meta itself going to be quite similar than the Great League, but it's kind of Great League light, where like Pokemon that may be a little bit outperformed by other Pokemon, like Aurora's going to be all of a sudden very good. For example, like Aurora's usually gets outperformed by something like a Bastion in the role it has. And so Walrein is going to be all of a sudden very good again. And I kind of like this meta a lot, and yeah, that's definitely a solid meta to go for, and hopefully we have some great teams here coming up for you, so let's check them out. After taking a look at the meta, which I still have to record by the way, I always record afterwards, so you're gonna take a look at team number 1 now, so whatever I said there, you definitely know it all. Anyway, we're going to have a great team here with Carbink, one of the best Pokemon for this meta in the lead, Sazop of Galate and Chestnut, where maybe I'm gonna make a video about this team as well, who knows, but this team looks kinda cool, but in general, different kind of options there for you as well. You can also use Galate as your closer, you can use Surfetch as your save swap, but look how good this team looks on paper. Only one Pokemon that is kind of really beating it, which is going to be Gliga, but not even that crazy, because actually Carbink has a very decent matchup against Gliga. And yeah, Superior can be a little bit of an issue. If you run the Surfetched, you have a little bit better of a play, I would say. If you're on the Obamaso, you have a little bit of a better play. And if you don't want to run Carbink at all, you can run the Shadow Charizard or the normal Charizard in the lead as well, if you want to be even a little bit more spicy. This team itself, though, looks like a lot of fun, and I think this might be a very good team, but who actually knows? Maybe we're gonna take a look at this one tomorrow, but we will see anyway. So yeah, very good team here in the beginning for sure, and we can move on to the next one. Team number 2, we're going to have a classic line here, which is going to be a steel type double flying. It is the best steel type here, is definitely going to be the Registeel. You can also go for something like a Steelix, you can also have some other steel types. I don't actually really know anyone right now, to be fair, but Empoleon would be also working maybe with Elite. Not really, because you're going to have a weakness to electric type Pokemon, but still, like, this team should work out quite well. Registeel is the only core breaker for a team that has Registeel in it. Everything else is going to be broken by this team, and this team looks like a lot of fun. Jellicent as a Sazor works out quite well as well here. Yeah, very good team for sure. Like, I think this is going to be one of the best teams that they can run right now. Especially like the combination of Pelipper and Registeel is quite classic. A lot of times back in the day, we saw those kind of combination as well with those Pokemon. So very cool to see this team performing that well here. Annihilate is not really like there anymore, which is going to free up Registeel, which is kind of cool. So like Registeel going to be way more common. Steel is going to be way more common. But also, yeah, this team is going to be quite a good one to run. Team number 3, I kind of just wanted to make a little bit of a theme team here, and we're going to have a triple water team, and if you want to run this, have fun with it. I think it's going to be a great team to run. A little bit tricky, of course, against electric type Pokemon, but I think the best electric type Pokemon is banned. I don't think Charge Up Bug is allowed. I don't actually know, but like you will most likely know because you're gonna take a look at the meta already. So if there's any electric type Pokemon, I will let you know there anyway already in the beginning of the video. But yeah, I feel like there are basically no electric type Pokemon around. Goodra is, I guess, the best core breaker for this team, having access to Thunder Punch. But anything else is going to quite struggle with this team. And I actually really like the Sasop as well of the Poliwrath here over the Quagsire. Both are going to be fine though, and definitely both going to work out quite well. But I feel like Poliwrath has a lot of potential as well for this team, and I think Poliwrath in general has a lot of potential with the absence of like the Annihilate not there, so like this is going to be the best fighting type Pokemon around for this cup. Moving on to team number 4, we're going to have, again, kind of similar to team number 2, but kind of reversed. We're going to have the double Steel line with a Pelipper in the lead, or the Jellicent in the lead, or the Tapu Fini in lead would also work out. Tapu Fini was a cool Pokemon. I didn't really make a team around it, but Tapu Fini would work out great here as a lead as well. In the back, we're going to have Steelix or Empoleon. Again, if you're going to be a little bit too worried about the electric type Pokemon, go for the Registeel in the back. Empoleon, I just want to showcase here. We're going to have quite a lot of teams with Empoleon still coming up because I feel like Empoleon is a really good Pokemon for this meta. But again, this team is going to be fine. Pelipper in the lead definitely helps out quite a bit. But I feel like, again, Poliwrath would have a lot of play as well, especially against other Empoleon. Against Registeel does make a lot of sense. Against Mandibuzz has a decent matchup. I feel like Poliwrath would be really cool for this team in the lead. Going to be a little bit tricky against other Poliwrath though, but yeah, again, like there are different kind of ways of playing it. The lead is kind of the most important one. Whatever you use like in the back is kind of fine. Steelix Sasop is kind of important as well because as a Steel type, it is very neutral against a lot of Pokemon that usually would be good against Steel type Pokemon, and still you can bait them out. And so it is a cool Pokemon to run here for sure. Would really recommend you to try out this team in general. Steelix as a Sasop looks like a fun Pokemon to use. Speaking of fun Pokemon to use, like this team looks like a lot of fun. You can even go for double Snake in the back there if you really want to, but here we're gonna go for the Gallade and Goodra core. Gallade in the Sasop position, Goodra in the back. Goodra, as said before, is a cool core breaker for this meta, and I think it's going to be a Pokemon that you see quite commonly as well. And the Goodra and Empoleon core are going to be a very good core to run for this meta. You will see here as well that this team it's kind of similar to the stuff that we saw already in like earlier seasons, like earlier seasons, like Empoleon Gallade core was quite decent early on in Go Battle League as well already, and now it's kind of back. And of course, Empoleon Dragon core has been great the entire time, so this team definitely should work out quite well. Sasop of the Dragonair is also cool to have a double Dragon backline, which I feel like has also a lot of play in this current meta. As Germnaa is going to be banned, I think really toughest bans, like most of the fairy types, are also going to be banned, and so this team looks like a lot of fun. Speaking of fairy types that are not banned, we're going to have here the Alolan Ninetales, and we're not running Charm. It is not a Charm team here, and for good reason, because basically what we have here, we have a Powder Snow Weather Ball variant with Dazzling Gleam, and we're going to have the Sasop of Poliwrath having access to Icy Wind. And this is kind of the cool thing here. You have an Ice type in the lead, which is going to be great against Grass type Pokemon, against Flying type Pokemon. You have a Sasop of Poliwrath, which is going to struggle against Grass type and Flying type Pokemon, but you still have coverage with Icy Wind, so you're very likely going to be able to get a shield advantage. But not only this, you're also very likely going to be able to drop the opponent's attack, which is going to help you out then to farm them down with the Ninetales, but also you're going to free up the way for the Swamp in the back. So I feel like this team has so much potential, and I feel like it's going to be a great team to use, so definitely is something that I would recommend you to try out. There are not really any big core breaker for this one. Pelipper is totally fine to deal with for your lead still. Like, yeah, maybe you lose a tier in this scenario, but you're still going to be able to definitely do quite a lot of damage there. Jellicent might be the only Pokemon that is a little bit tricky for this team. I definitely have to admit this. It would be cool if like Ninetales gets like some dark type coverage other than Faint Attack as a fast move, which is garbage. But yeah, I really hope that there's going to be new coverage moves coming in for the new season, as we have like 20 moves, like new moves in the code already. Hopefully they're going to be for PvP, we have to see, but it is what it is. Let's move on to team at number 7. A very classic one here. We're going to have the Clodsire, we're going to have the Deoxys defense, which I feel like has a lot of play as well in this current meta. We're going to have another Deoxys defense team at team number 10 as well, so definitely stay tuned for this one. But we're going to have a Walrein here, we're going to have the Celio here as a Sasop, or like dark type Pokemon, or generally speaking, any dark type, any Pokemon that is kind of weak to fighting, and a water type Pokemon, all of them kind of work out quite well for this team. I really like Greninja, especially in this team as well. I feel like Greninja has a lot of play, and so very likely going to be a showcase coming up for Greninja as well eventually. But Walrein, also cool Pokemon. I feel like this has a lot of potential in the current meta. And yeah, definitely a solid team. A very classic one, again, like something that has been proven be very, very good already for like a long time. And look at Clodsire and look at the top 3 meta picks, and you beat them all, which is really important as well. So this team looks like a lot of fun. I think it has a lot of play. I really like the Caesar of Walrein because if you know me, I always like to have like kind of coverage from the lead on my Caesar position. So while we are not running Earthquake here on the Clodsire apparently, Earthquake would be still a move that you can see on Clodsire. Clodsire is still a ground type Pokemon. So if you swap out into a Pokemon like Walrein, we just need a ground or poison type Pokemon, having coverage of your lead is quite important because a lot of times you just bait out the Pokemon that the lead would be good against. So here, for example, we're going to have the Clodsire in the lead, would be good against Carbink. If we swap out into the Walrein, we at least still have an Earthquake, which is going to do super effective damage against them. Same goes for like something like a Registeel. And so I feel like this team has a lot of play. I think it's a really cool team to use. And we can move on to team number 8. We're going to have here, I think that's kind of similar to the first team that we have, but just a little bit flipped. We have Superior, we have Double Carbink. There's kind of like an ABC style line here as well. Looks like a lot of fun. A little bit tricky to deal with Registeel, maybe. Registeel can be a little bit of a trickier one. Still, actually, Superior has a fairly neutral matchup against Registeel. This is like the awkward thing for Registeel if you don't really, like, you kind of get a lot of damage from moves like Frenzy Plant still, which is kind of a little bit annoying because you just don't have fast move pressure. So, like, even while the opponent can resist everything from us, it's still going to chunk quite a bit after a while. Here, if you want to be a little bit better off against Gligar, go for Aurorus in the back. Aurorus actually has a lot of play in this current meta as well, and I would not be surprised to see some more Aurorus as well. But yeah, both Carbink as well as Aurora is going to be double weak to Steel-type Pokemon, which is going to be a little bit of a trickier one. But still, I feel like this team has a lot of potential. Team number 9, also going to be something that you might have seen already in the Open Great League, which is something that I usually like to run as well. But I usually run the Manta in the back with the Magnezone in the lead and a Sazop of the Annihilate. Here we're running the Sazop of Gligar. Still, I have no idea why Gligar is even allowed in this meta. It does not really make any sense at all, but again, this is going to be definitely a team that is going to work out quite well, and I would imagine that a lot of people are going to run this team. Registeel is going to lose against the Magnezone as well in the 2-shield scenario all the time, so that's going to be a great matchup. Like, honestly, if you take a look at Magnezone, the 2-shield scenario, I feel like it's such a good matchup for the entire time. Yeah, I actually like Pelipper a little bit more compared to Manton for this team, just for Pokemon like Gligar, for example, or also the Steelix, where you kind of really would like to have some Water-type coverage. Getting to the Weather Ball a little bit earlier helps out quite a bit, and so I like this matchup a little bit more, and so I like this Pokemon a little bit more, but still both of them are totally fine, and we can move on to the final team of today. We're going to have a little bit of a meta line here with some legendary slash mythical Pokemon. Actually, it's both mythical Pokemon combined. We're going to have Mew, Carbink, and the Deoxys here. And I kind of want to just highlight the Mew for this meta, because if you take a look at this, against Carbink, you're going to super effective damage with Surf. You can definitely deal with that Pokemon as well. Against Steelix, you do super effective damage with Surf while resisting Psychic Fangs. Against Empoleon, you do super effective damage with Wild Charge. Against Manobos, you do super effective damage with Wild Charge. Gastrodon, Re-Ignore. Gligar, you do super effective damage. Against Pelipper, you do double super effective damage. Against Toxapex, you do super effective damage. What you see already with this is there are a lot of Pokemon that are very weak to the water plus electric type coverage of Mew in this meta. And this is something that maybe doesn't showcase perfectly here in the 0-1 shield scenario, but in the 2 shield scenario, and especially energy up, Mew as a Sazop looks like a fantastic pick for this meta. And Deoxys in the back also is going to be very helpful for it, because basically Mew can bait out anything that is going to be good against Psychic type Pokemon, while being not actually really a Psychic type Pokemon on its own, because you have so much coverage with this Pokemon that you barely do like any Psychic type damage with it usually. And so it's a cool team here. I feel like Mew has a lot of potential, and hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I can record now the meta analysis. So see you then. Bye bye.